Welcome back, everyone. Monday, the 17th of November, and the first of a viewers call-in for what it must be almost 10 days, 2 weeks. I've been really busy, as you all know. The link to the show to join me today live is in the video description. It's also in the chat. I'll pop it in again right now, just in case you've missed it. I'm looking forward to hearing what's on your mind this afternoon. I want to talk about the two-tier policing situation over in Bristol at the weekend. I've got a little bit of video that I'm going to play later on in the stream, which for me highlights exactly the problem with the police right now. And I've been watching some videos where former members of our armed services have even been suggesting that the army are really unsettled and unhappy with what is going on, and suggested that they could turn on the police ultimately, which I've got to be honest with you, I find difficult to believe or difficult to understand or imagine ever happening. But, you know, look, I'm asking the question. I'm not saying it would. Am I saying it should? I don't know. I mean, look, for me, there are a large number of police officers up and down the country that have let us down as a nation, and they've probably actually gone further than letting us down. I think they betrayed us in many respects. Farty Pants is going to be our first caller today. Let's have a look, see if he's in the room. Farty Pants, good afternoon, mate.
Hi, I'm here. Yep.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. Are you getting any feedback?
No, I'm not. I can hear you fine. What's on your mind, brother?
Well, I'll give you a wee bit of my history. I was 32 years in the British Army, 2 years short of full army pension, and about 16 months away from promotion to Lieutenant Colonel. My concern is the use of military army barracks as camps for the migrants. What's the worst going to happen? Are these going to be ISIS training camps on their own back door? I think you made it.
Sorry, yeah, that is a huge concern, obviously. And first of all, thank you for your service. Very much appreciated. I mean, look, certainly it is a concern. I mean, we hear lots of stories about this. And I've got to be honest with you, in the past, I've had trouble believing it. I mean, would we really be importing a foreign army into our country deliberately? But you know what? The more it goes on, and speaking to Ant Middleton over the weekend, that is exactly what he believes. He believes this is all by design. Is that how you feel?
It is. If you look at, you can put them into a field, put tents up, turn a field into like a refugee camp, the same as what they're doing in France.
Yeah. I mean, today Labour are talking about taking their jewellery or some nonsense, you know. I mean, for God's sake, I mean, what are they going to come up with next? I mean, this is just absolutely ridiculous, taking their jewellery when they come over, like they're going to care anyway. I would imagine that 99% of them don't wear any jewellery in the first place. And of course, once they know it's going to be taken off them, they'll simply leave it back where they came from.
Mm-hmm. Well, I actually saw a video Danny Tomo did where he found clothing belonging to the migrants that were coming over here. They're dumping everything. And inside one of the coats was a form that was given to a migrant coming from Eritrea.
Yeah,
I don't know if you saw that.
I did. I've seen all Danny's videos, and he's doing a grand job in doing what he's doing. I mean, I worry about him immensely because, you know, look, there's only so much one or two men can do without, you know, falling foul of the law, unfortunately.
Well, the way I see it is, I think he's painting a big target on his back.
Yeah.
A big target.
Yeah, and I do worry about him because he's a good lad, Danny. But I mean, look, after all the years that you served in the armed forces, how do you think what's going to be the general consensus of opinion amongst the rank and file? What do you think?
Well, you see, coming from experience, the orders come down from the top, and you have to obey the orders coming down, or else you face disciplinary action, and you could actually face discipline,
of course,
dishonourable discharge if you fail to carry out the orders handed down. It's the same with the police. The police are getting orders handed down, and if they don't follow them, they're going to also face disciplinary action. They've no choice.
Yeah, it's a really, really tough one. I mean, I get that, but how do you think they're feeling? What do you think, if you was in the barracks right now with the lads, what do you think the gut feeling amongst them would be? I mean, I don't know. I mean, they've been busy recruiting. If they've been recruiting like they've been recruiting the police the last 10 years, then maybe the army that I used to know doesn't exist anymore. I don't know. What's your view?
It doesn't. The pension chasers that's coming up to 34 years, they're not going to care. They're going to just carry out whatever order. It's a young rank and file now that will be unhappy with what's going on.
Yeah.
If you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's the same with the police. The pension chasers are the people that they just don't care.
Yeah, I think that's a really
and
good comment.
I would say about 60-70% of maybe the military are unhappy with what's happening, because it could happen on their own doorstep.
Yeah.
Anyone with young children, those young children could be assaulted. They could be, well, not say it, but you understand where I'm coming from.
Yeah, I know exactly where you're coming from. I mean, it must be hugely frustrating for these lads, because look, they signed up in a belief that they're going to be defending our country, and there it is being invaded right in front of their very eyes, and there's nothing they can do about it.
You hit the nail right in the head. When you take your oath, you take your oath to protect your king, queen, country.
Yeah. And
if you're unable to, what's your oath for if you're unable to protect your country?
Yeah. When is it all going to end, do you think? What is your concern? Give me a best case and worst case scenario. Ex-military, best and worst case scenario. What do you think is going to happen?
The way I see it going is it's going to end up blood on the streets. It's going to end up civil unrest unless we can turn it around. We haven't reached the edge of the cliff yet. We have time to turn it around. The problem I'm seeing now at the moment is recruitment.
Yeah.
When I was growing up, 88, I joined the army. Nearly all the young cubs, teenagers leaving school, most of them were going into the army.
Yeah.
You're not getting that now. No, almost all the kids leaving school are going to university.
Yeah.
And recruitment has gone straight through the floor.
Yeah. And once they get them into uni, it's over, isn't it? Because you know what's going to happen in university.
Well, you go through university, then there's a possibility that you could go to Sandhurst and then become an army officer.
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, a lot of the kids that are going through uni, though, are coming out talking like Jeremy Corbyn. That's the problem.
Well, they go to university and their brains are being filled with left woke nonsense. The only way I can see around the recruitment problem will be conscription, national service.
Do you think that would work in a modern day Britain?
I think it would. Because two things will happen. The first thing is you'll teach the children a lot of respect and manners.
Yeah.
And the second thing is once they do a year or two, then they might think, I want to be a soldier the rest of my life. And you could get quite a few that will then become career soldiers.
Yeah.
Because don't forget, Paul, whenever you're in the army, you can go through all the training for trades and whatever.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Through the army, that you will be doing on a university, and you're also getting paid for it.
What about the old sort of theory that the army wouldn't want society's problems? Because it's often said, isn't it? Oh, he's a criminal, throw him in the army for 2 years. But the army could turn around and say, well, we don't want people like that. And how much of a problem do you think it will be? I mean, can you imagine? I mean, I know it's a difficult question. You know, take your
Well,
time
it's
to
the same.
answer it.
It's the same with selection for the SAS. You know, you'll maybe have about 50 or 60 people go through, but only maybe 2 will cut the mustard.
Yeah.
And to me, you're better with quality over quantity.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, every time. Every time.
Yeah.
Okay, look, thank you very much, mate. I really appreciate it, and thanks for your
Take care,
regular
Paul, and thanks for all you
contributions as
do.
well. Oh, mate,
Thanks
it's
for
my
everything
pleasure.
you do.
I met some lovely Ulstermen in Benidorm yesterday, and
Oh,
yeah,
brilliant!
brilliant.
I hope they didn't paint a bad picture.
No. They never do, mate. They never do. All the best to you.
All right, take care.
Thank you, brother. Take care. God bless you. There you go. That's 40 pence. So the line is free. The stream is free if you want to hop on. I've got a feeling you guys might be a bit shy to start off with this afternoon, but that's absolutely fine. Let's have a little look. Greetings from Hamburg. Thank you. Tony says, good afternoon all. Regards to the army, I wouldn't count on them getting involved. The reports from MOD saying morale is low amongst the forces. Well, you'd imagine it would, wouldn't you? Because as I just said, you know, people sign up to protect their country. And if they're not allowed to do their job, no wonder morale is low. Dave, good afternoon, Dave.
How's it going, mate? You all right?
I am very well, Dave. How are you?
Yeah, not bad, mate. Not bad. I've just tuned in, so apologies. Is the main talking point in regards to the army, or?
Well, it's mate. You can talk about whatever you want to talk about. It's an open show, so whatever you want to talk about today, feel free to hop on. I'm here to give everyone a voice. You talk about whatever you want to talk about, mate.
Well, we've seen recently Shaban and Masood make announcements in regards to immigration. I've got to admit, I'm a bit skeptical because I've seen a lot of announcements from Labour, but I don't really see them actually carry out these things that they propose. I just wondered in general, what's your feeling towards these new legislation towards illegal immigration?
Well, 2 words come to mind. Laughable is the first word that comes to mind. I mean, what is this? What are they saying today? You know, they're going to be rechecked every 30 months or something. I mean, you know, they're going to have to wait 20 years to get their full UK citizenship. Well, that means they're going to be here for 20 years. We've got 20 years to find out whether they're a good or a bad person. They shouldn't be allowed in the first place. And the second thing that comes to mind is the fact that I don't, you know, when you say skepticism, look, if a Labour politician tells me today is Monday, I want to check the newspaper, right? Because I don't believe a goddamn word that comes out of their mouth. That's the bottom line. So frankly, I think it's all smoke and mirrors. I mean, look at today's headline I'm looking at right now on another screen. Migrant jewellery seizure chaos. Labour's migrant crackdown descends into farce as left's mutiny on jewellery seizures forces ministers to deny they want to take family heirlooms. I mean, who are they trying to kid? I mean, what is the only word that I can think to describe this is bullshit. It's bullshit.
Yeah, I think in regards to this tactic in the game that they play, when there was a lot of talk around the grooming gangs and Elon Musk was highlighting it, along with a lot of people, they announced that they're going to have an inquiry to quiet down that conversation.
Yeah.
But we've seen since that they don't really intend to actually carry out a proper inquiry.
They've done it. Yeah, exactly, Dave. Dave, you're spot on the money there. Thanks for bringing that up. You're right. They don't want an inquiry. They don't intend to have one, and they're hoping that somehow it's going to fizzle out, or, you know, we're going to get some watered down version that panders to the right people and in the hope that it satisfies the rest of us. Well, in this case, it is not. The only way that I can see an ultimate successful end to all of this, but particularly where the grooming gang scandal is concerned, is that there must be criminal trials at the end of it. There are people out there that need to be brought to justice that have been complicit, they have aided, they have abetted, they have ignored, They have done all of these things and more. And in some cases, some of the buggers have even taken part, is my belief. Now, they all need to be brought to book, hauled over the coals, and we need to see them in the dock. That is the only way that this can successfully come to a conclusion. We need the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And when those that have done all of these things are unveiled and revealed, they need to be prosecuted. That's my view.
Do you think if Nigel was to win, I'm not a supporter of Nigel. I think he's shown himself to not be a trustworthy character too many times. The way he's conducted himself, the thing that he did to Rupert Lowe, the thing he did to Ben Habib, how they've conducted themselves is it's not of good standing. Do you think though, if they were to win the next general election, do you think they would hold an honest and true inquiry? Because they don't necessarily have a connection to it. I can't understand, because obviously it's disgusting, but Labour are complicit, like you said, so they're going to try to hide their crimes. Do you think if reform was to get in, do you think we could see an honest and open and fair inquiry?
Well, look, we'd stand a better chance, wouldn't we? But I've got to be honest with you, you know, for my views on Labour, see my views on Nigel Farage as a leader, see my views on Labour. You know, whatever if he says it's Monday, I want to check the papers. You know, because I just don't believe the guy. The guy has lied to us so many times before and has let so many people down. Look, Nigel is a very, very clever man. He is and I'm going to say it, he's a great politician. He's a typical politician. He says all the right things. You know, he comes over extremely well. I was watching him yesterday, and the guy does come over well. You know, he's really good at what he does. But will he deliver? My belief is the answer is no, he won't deliver. But anyone's better than bloody Labour. The Tories would be better than Labour. And in fact, I will go as far as saying this. I believe that there are Tories out there, the likes of potentially Robert Jenrick, Suella Braverman, that would potentially deliver more from the grooming gang side of things than reform would, but who knows? I'm hoping upon all hope that before we get much further into this, that people start to see the light, and you know the membership of Advance continues to grow and grow and grow, without a shadow of a doubt. Ben Habib will be back on the mainstream media before too long, because they're going to have to have him on before long. You know, the sheer weight of numbers is going to mean they're going to have to give the guy a voice. I trust Ben. I don't trust Nigel, but, you know, I don't want to see her and not Nigel Farage. Like I said, you know, there are times when he's done a good job, but I don't trust him. I don't trust him to deliver.
Yeah, that's my worrying, and that's my worry and concern in regards to Nigel. Is he controlled opposition? Is he going to get into power, and is he just going to do management job? As we've seen in regards to the Conservatives, for a long time they promised us a lot of things. They was telling us one thing and they was doing something completely opposite. Now under the Conservatives, we've seen millions of people come into the country illegally. Legally. We, you know, they kept winning election after election on the basis of getting us Brexit. They never got us Brexit. They never took us out of the ECHR. So they've told us so many lies. And in the last election, it was important that they was punished for doing that. But of course, it did lead to us having a Labour government, which is accelerated things even faster. But I do believe Labour and Conservative kind of have the same agenda. Conservatives was going about it a little bit slower. But with Nigel and the way he's conducted himself, and again, you know, they literally tried to look. Lee Anderson, I used to hold Lee Anderson in high regard. The way he conducted himself in regards to Rupert Lowe and his the issue around Rupert Lowe's dog, that was nothing but dirty politics.
Terrible, shocking.
Yeah, you know, I'm not going to compromise my moral standing for the sake of these political parties anymore. I think Ben Habib has shown himself to be honest. He has integrity. It's a grassroots movement, and it is attracting good, honest people who do genuinely care and are patriots, because that's what we need. We need patriots in government, because unfortunately at the moment we just have corporate entities or individuals working on behalf of who knows who or what.
Dave, I couldn't agree more, mate. And I go something you just said a minute ago there about, you know, Nigel being potentially controlled opposition. I mean, look, isn't it strange that a year ago he was the bad guy, right? He was always the bad guy as far as the media are concerned. Now they can't get enough of him.
Yeah.
You know, so it just doesn't ring true for me. And the other problem I've got with reform right now is if we take Nigel out of the equation, it's who's in the background. I mean, if you watch closely at who they're recruiting throughout the party, it's just a mishmash of ex-Lib Dems, ex-Tories, with the odd Labour guy thrown in here and there. What suddenly has made these people care about our country? I mean, you either care about the country or you don't, right? I agree that you can be woken up. There's nothing wrong with people that have, had to learn the lesson and wake up. But these are politicians. They don't need waking up. They know exactly what's been going on. They've known what's been going on for years. And you're dead right about the Tories as well, deserving the kicking that they got, despite the fact that we got Labour. But every cloud has a silver lining, Dave. And the one silver lining out of that may have been, please God, let's hope that it is, the lesson that if you continually refuse to deliver the mandate of which you was elected to deliver, you're going to get a political kicking. And that's what's going to happen to Labour. They've clearly not learned the lesson.
Well, I think the majority of the British people have been voting for a long time now against immigration. I think Brexit was the same. We've had enough for a long time. Again, The Conservatives kept winning elections because they kept promising they're going to get us Brexit and finalise Brexit. And again, people have voted over and over. It was a perfect storm in the last general election because it is quite ironic because those of us who are advanced supporters keep having these I don't know, they're more likely Richard Tice bots popping up saying don't split the vote. Or some of them might be genuine, some of them are definitely bots. But they keep telling us about splitting the vote. When in reality it was Reform who split the vote last time, and it was the perfect storm for Labour. But so in regards to people keep saying about split the vote, it's the Conservatives and Reform who are actually the ones who are going to split the vote, because if Reform don't manage to take traditional Conservative voters, there is a possibility they won't win the next general election. So But what do you think in regards to sorry mate, in regards to Rupert Love, do you think he could U-turn and potentially, or would Bennaby be in favour of him becoming the leader of Advance, or is that ship sailed?
I don't know, to be honest with you. I can't speak for Ben on that situation. I don't know. I can only repeat what I've said already, really. I'm a little bit disappointed in Rupert. I mean, look, I like him, but for me, again, I'm afraid there's a bit of an ego there. I may be wrong. I may be miles off the mark, but for me, there's a bit of ego where Rupert's concerned, and we need people now who can put their egos to one side, come together for the sake of the nation. I want to see the Rupert Lows, I want to see the Ant Middletons, I want to see everyone. I mean, even people like Liz Truss and Suella Braverman, I'd like to see them all coming towards Advance, getting together and becoming a working class people, a British people's, not necessarily just a working class people's, but I want to see them become a political steamroller from the centre right that just steams them, rolls over everything in their path. And we can do it, but it takes bravery and it takes an honesty that a lot of people just aren't willing to commit to. And I'm afraid that's how I feel about Rupert. I'm not sure what he's up to, in all honesty.
And this might be a bit of a side point, but I've got a lot of love and respect for Tom Robinson. I've done a lot to try to put his stuff out there and stuff in my own little way. But I do think he dropped the ball a little bit when he was in Israel, because he was asked by one of the mainstream reporters, "You've got the movement, you've created the movement. Well, what comes after that? What is the next thing?" And I feel like Tom Robinson had an open goal there to say Advance is that thing, right? And Tom Robinson did put that work in. He brought Ben along to the United Kingdom rally, he brought him onto stage and that. But when he was asked in that moment, I think that was his opportunity then to, well, we have got a political solution. We are aligned with a political party. And unfortunately, I don't know, that he didn't take that opportunity, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I was with Tommy over last weekend. I didn't mention it. We didn't have time, basically, to even talk very much. I mean, but you're right. I mean, I would like to see Tommy speak more about Advance. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to be truthful. I'm going to say it as I see it. I think you're dead right. We do now have the political answer, and everyone, in my opinion, should be getting behind it. But of course, look, we're all individuals. Everyone has the right to do what they want to do. But if we want to win our country back and we want to win it, have a really good chance of winning it back through political means, which is the only way, it's Advance UK for me every day of the week. Dave, thank you so much. Brilliant call, mate. Lovely. Really.
All
really
right,
good.
mate.
Thank
Take
you, brother.
care. Appreciate
all the
it.
best, mate. All the best. Yeah. Thank you. All the best. Linford is up next. Linford, how you doing, mate? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. How are you?
I am very well, mate. Very well. Still warming up after that Polish weather.
Oh, bless you. Just listening to what's been said in that, Paul, you know, and what's going on at the minute with Labour and all the carnage and everything else, you know, and obviously he is going to go, Starmer, you know, and I think that Wes Streeting will get in. That's what I feel, you know, but irrelevant is Labour need to get out completely. But do you know what? Let's get Starmer out, do you know, and I think until this changes, until they're actually out, Paul, nothing's actually going to change, you know. And I'm a member of Advance, you know, and I love Ben Habib, you know, and I do my part, you know, what I can do. You know, I got in at 3 o'clock this morning. No, 3:10. I was out at a migrant hotel, you know, documenting and all that, watching out for coaches and all that, you know, and and I do that every night. I do that, Paul. You know, because I want to protect our women and our community and our children at Canary Wharf and that, you know, and I just feel, you know, it is about doing things the right way, you know. And I heard earlier someone mention Danny Tomo, you know, and you know what? I am a bit frightened for what's coming, you know, without saying anything, you know. I don't want him to get himself in any bother.
That's exactly how I feel. Yeah.
You know, and I know what's coming, Paul.
Yeah.
And it's frightening.
I think, do you know what? Bless his heart, right? I think Danny has got to the point where he feels he has to sacrifice himself.
Totally, yeah.
And that worries me immensely because, like I said, you know, bless his heart, if he does sacrifice himself, it ain't going to change anything.
But there's thousands and thousands and thousands of people as well, Paul, that are right there beside him.
Yeah.
Ready and waiting.
Yeah. Now, when I say sacrifice himself, I'm talking about from a legal viewpoint. You know, I mean, he's going to end up in trouble.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah, yeah. He's going to end up in trouble, and I really, really don't want to see that. I need to actually get in contact with Danny. I've not spoken to him for ages. But,
you know,
I mean, you say, Linford, you say get rid of Keir Starmer. What do you think? And I want your honest opinion on this, mate. So just give it to me straight. My view on this is that I'm not sure that getting rid of Starmer yet is a good thing. And I'll tell you why. Because if we get a Wes Streeting or an Andy Burnham, these people, in my opinion, are sadly capable of pulling on the nice guy mask. And all the people that are on the turn, they're thinking all of a sudden, you know, they're like, well, this Starmer's really bad news. You know, what are they doing to our country? Blah, blah, blah. You get someone like Andy Burnham in who's like, you know, quite a likable sort of person to look at and listen to. The same with Wes Streeting. He's hugely unoffensive or inoffensive. Do we want that? Do we not want Keir Starmer and Shabana Mahmood to finish the job that they started? Because in my belief, things have got to get worse before the sleeping will wake up and make it better.
Oh, totally. I agree with you, Paul. I agree with you. Things have got to get worse, and they will get worse. They will get worse. That's a fact. You know, and I'm seeing it.
So what I'm saying is, though, do we want an Andy Burnham or a Wes Streeting to come in?
Well, I know what you're saying. Better the devil you know than the devil. Well, better the devil you know than the devil you don't. But I still feel that, you know what? He has to go. He's just, I can't, that's just my opinion, Paul. I can't stand him. I detest the man. You're with a vengeance. You know, and I feel that Wes Streeting will be better.
Mate, I gotta tell you, I don't think there's been a more disliked, and I'm being polite, more disliked politician in the history of British politics. The only thing I will say, yeah, I think West Streeting would be better. I think Andy Burnham will be better, but my view is I actually don't want another Labour politician that's going to make things slightly better to pull the wool over the eyes of the public once again, and we end up.
I agree with you.
God forbid, if West Streeting or Andy Burnham does even half a decent job.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what Shabana Mahmood is now doing, mate. Trust me when I tell you, Shabana Mahmood is now saying all the right things, or trying to say the right things, to convince the world and the public that actually she's a good politician. And she's
but that's a cover-up, Paul. It's a cover-up.
Exactly. It's all smoke and mirrors.
Yeah, totally.
It is all smoke and mirrors.
You know? Paul, would I be able to, after I've got off, send you I've just gone on YouTube with my channel. Would I be able to send you my channel for you to share for me, please?
Tell me what it is right now, mate. What's it called?
It's at Lion Art 1998.
I'll tell you what, pop it in the chat. Put it in the chat.
All right, mate. I'll do it.
Put it in the chat. And I'll try and find it and I'll highlight it for you. But I'm going to spell it wrong if you read it out to me. Pop it in the chat and I'll get it up on the screen. Right, Linford, I'm going to move on, mate, because we've got some people waiting. All the best to you, brother. Take care. Keep up the good work. And I'll see you soon. All the best, mate. Shanae is next. Shanae.
Hello.
Good afternoon. How are you? How are you doing?
I'm just making some cards for a friend. She's ordered some cards. I used to make cards. I'm covered in paper, and the cat is like helping. I'm really worried about Banana Bad Mood getting in.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why. I've got a similar background to Ben Habib. I've got a Muslim, non-practicing Muslim father. He died 3 years ago, and a Catholic mother. So I've got a Christian and Muslim. My dad didn't practice. His father didn't practice. In fact, his father used to swear at the guy if he was hollering over the tannoys. Because my dad was from Cyprus, but his great-grandfather was actually Sultan and right-hand man to the last Sultan of the Ottoman Empire. So he said he was a terrible man, awful man. People used to run when he was going. But because of my background, I get a lot of people telling me stuff, thinking I'm okay with it. And I'm not. And like the last guy, I'm scared to death. I'm scared to death.
What worries you about Shabana Mahmood so much?
She'll say everything now to try and get the vote if she gets in. We need a general election, not a change of Labour. But if she gets in, she'll say all the right things now to get in. She's got one thing on her mind, and that's to get in for the Muslims. They are waiting. I was literally told they're waiting. As soon as they get someone in power in Downing Street, it's going to be hell. We're literally going to be. These things that are happening now are tasters. Yeah. They're tasters. They're not random. They are organised. These people are organised. They're doing it for now. One woman I spoke to, I used to think she was moderate. I thought she was okay. She used to wear her hair curly. She's actually a hairdresser. She had her hair curly, dyed blonde. The next time I saw her, I didn't recognise her. She had a headscarf and she was learning Arabic. And one day she said to me, "Oh, I'm getting you a Quran," she said, an English version. And I said, "I don't want one, thank you." I said, "I know what's in it," because she knows my background. I know what's in it. And she said to me, "You know, things are changing. You know, things are happening." And I said, "Yeah, I do." And she said, "So you have to be ready." And I said, "Ready for what?" She said, "Ready for what's going to happen." She said, "You know what's happening. These things are happening." She said, "They're not accidents." She said, "It's testing. It's testing to see what happens, testing to see how police react, testing to see how much they can get away with, how many people can invade without being attacked, stopped." they're waiting. Downing Street in London is the first goal. That's the main goal. Prince Charles, he'll have to abdicate. He'll have to go somewhere. He'll have to go to Buckingham Palace is the next goal after Downing Street.
Well, the thing is, I mean, you know, there's probably, you know, there are people out there would say, oh, you know, this is a crazy theory, etc. But you know what? If I had Shabana Mahmood in front of me right now, if Shabana Mahmood was to pop up on my screen, the question that I would have for her, and it's a really genuine, honest one, right? It's not meant in a nasty way. It's not meant in a derogatory fashion. It's a genuine question, and it's this: as a Muslim that has admitted to the public that her religion
Exactly.
is the most important thing in her life.
Yeah.
And that she has a calling to God. These are her words.
Yes.
And that God is Allah. That God is not a Christian God. If that's the number one thing in her life, how can she become Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, which is basically a Christian country? So that'll be my first question to her. The second question is that, you know, not all of us Christians are stupid. Not all of us people out there are totally uneducated about Islam, and we are aware of the word taqiyya. And most people will know, probably watching this stream, what taqiyya means. And again, my question to her would be, look, Shabana, you might be a really nice person. I don't know. I've never met her. I've never met Shabana Mahmood. I have no idea what's going on in her mind. She may well be a lovely, lovely individual with only the best intentions in her heart. But her religion, which she's already said is the most important thing in her life, gives her the ability to lie to us. Okay? It's okay to lie to us if it furthers the cause of Islam, which she has already told us is the most important thing in her life. So how can we trust her?
We can't.
Could we ever trust them?
We can't. We can't. They'll say what you like. You've got to look at their actions behind the things they do, the things they say to the others. Her religion is going to be the be-all. That is what they want. To get her in is the ultimate goal. It's not the ultimate because they want more, but this is what they want. This is getting Downing Street is, I had one say to me before, once the black flag of Islam is above Downing Street, you'll see what will happen. After that, then they said Buckingham Palace. They said, then you'll see what's going to happen. And it's not like one person says it. I get told this by several because, you know, if they know my name, because I live on a street that is nearly all Muslim now, and the whole area where I live, I can't go into the town anymore. I'm literally looked at and spat at, and you know, but nothing is getting done. But I also had a policeman here for a different thing. I've got a crack dealer that's stolen things, and I had a police out one day. But I sat down and I had a proper conversation with him. And there was a girl as well. I think she was Polish. And they sat there and we had a really good talk. And I thought, you know, I'm going to get arrested. But he sat and he listened to me. And he said to me, we're leaving in droves. He said, we don't get paid enough. We don't have the right uniform. We've got no protection. He said, what have we got? A taser. What good is a taser, he said, when you're surrounded by 20, 30 people who are going to attack you? You've got one taser that's stuck in that one person. They'll kill me, he said. They'll kill us. He said, there's not enough of us anymore. And he said, what good is that? What good's a baton? He said, our uniform is out of date. He said, we need something more agile, something we can run in. It's very heavy. We've got too many things attached to it. And he said, if we say anything, if we do anything, we're racist, he said. And he said, you know, from your background, he said, what some people can be like. And I said, well, my family weren't like it. I said, they weren't practicing. But I said, because of my background, I get told things. They think that you're all, because this is the thing. You're not one, you're all, you know, if one person's a Muslim and that person's a Muslim, they're not separate people, they're one.
Yeah.
And if it comes down to it, it doesn't matter how moderate they seem. There's plenty that are like me. I mean, I'm not a Muslim, I go to church, but there's plenty of people that are like my dad. They're not practicing and stuff like that, and they're worried about. My dad warned me years ago. He died 3 years ago. He was my best friend, but he died 3 years ago. And before that, he said to me, sat me down, and he was looking through a magazine about Iran, and he was showing me what happened. And he said, this country and others, he said, are asleep. They said the same thing. Oh, this won't happen. There's not enough of them. We're still the majority. Overnight, he said, they saw what happened. And he said, this is going to happen here. And that stuck with me. I miss my dad terrible. Like I said, he wasn't like that at all. Then I lost my brother last year. So less than 2 years, I lost both my best friends because I was very close to them. But that will never go out of my head what he said. And he, you know, he would never have been the one. But yeah, it's scary because I know what they're up to. I know what's going on, and I try and tell people. And it's like, you know, like Ben has got the same sort of background. People will still call him a racist. People will still tell him he's been prejudiced. He doesn't know what he's talking about. People like us do know what we're talking about. If anybody knows, we know. We see both sides. You know, we know what people are thinking, and we know what people will say to us, but they won't say it to you. You know, you'll get the odd one that will come out because they get angry in the street and they'll start rabbiting on them. But you've got to take what they say as fact. They don't say it for nothing. It's in here. They're being taught it.
Yeah, they reveal themselves. They're
revealing themselves. And they don't play nice. They don't play nice marchy. They play dirty. And when it comes down to it, we need to be prepared. We really do. But the other thing is, if there was an election now, what would you go down? You wouldn't be able to vote. I mean, I'm advanced, but advanced isn't advanced enough yet, if you know what I mean. If there was a general election, it would have to be reform, wouldn't it?
Well,
what do you think?
Personally, I'll be voting for the candidate rather than the party.
Yeah, that's what I do usually. I usually read everything about them, but
yeah, I'd vote for the candidate rather than the party.
Yeah.
Sinead, I'm going to move on because I've got a few people waiting. Thank you so much for coming on again. Absolutely eye-opening. Well done. All the best to you. Thank you so much. Now, before we go to our next viewer, I just want to play a couple of videos. I mentioned at the top of the show about the policing in Bristol. Guys, hang on in there if you're in the back room. Please just give me a few moments to... let me just address this. Rob Quint says, really sick of YouTube again, no notification. Right, guys, if anyone is not getting their notifications, just go to the subscribe button, make sure you're subscribed, hit the notification bell, and then hit always, and then you will get a notification every time, or at least you bloody should do. Wessex Blades and Made Knives, thank you very much, and Union became a member. Thank you. That is a great way to support the channel by becoming a member. I really appreciate that. Let's just go back to these videos. So let's have a little look at the difference between the way in which the police deal with Antifa and the way in which they deal with patriots. Now, I know they're different forces. They're different days, right? But it's, you know, we could pick out one example after another of what I'm going to show you. And what I want you to observe is how the police mamby-pamby around these people. They're like, look at what they're wearing. They're wearing, well, watch for yourself. This is the first clip. That is like you would see in a school playground, a bit of a game of tug of war. They're all wearing their baseball caps, right? Let's have another look. I mean, at one stage they're pushing the police back, right? I mean, you know, there's a little policewoman in there. They're all wearing, say, their baseball caps. This is how they deal with our lot. Marked difference, not only in the way they're dressed, but the way they get their batons out, the way they charge forward, move forward, and look. The bottom line is, with one lot, they're mamby-pambying around, treating them like little kids. The next video where it involves the Patriots, and by the way, I'm not condoning any of that behaviour. You know, if you go to a demonstration, you should treat the police with respect. You should treat the situation with respect. So I don't condone for one moment the actions of people trying to push into the police. I'm pointing out the difference in the reaction from the police. Robert is up next. Robert, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Paul. Pleased to be speaking to you again.
Very nice to have you on, mate. How are you?
Yeah, I've enjoyed watching you in Poland a few days ago.
Thank you very much.
I hope that sometime I'll be able to get there for that because it looks amazing.
It's a good weekend. Yeah, it's a good weekend.
As I say, the lady who was on, she was just before me. She was so wise about what she was saying. I'm a lot luckier than her. I don't really want to say where, but I live in a part of England where there isn't really any Muslims in the area, and I hope it stays like that, because I remember Tommy saying there was only one mosque in Luton when he was a boy, and now there's 40 or more. I'm a member and have been for a while of Advance, and one of the things I'd like to say while I'm on here is we get people from time to time when you and Richard are talking and they're on about splitting the vote. And I will say to those people that they are absolutely wrong, that that Reform is not the party for us anymore. It's been proved time and time again by Richard Tice saying we want nothing to do with that lot, and by Nigel Farage saying we must embrace Islam or we'll lose.
Yeah.
If we embrace Islam, we have already lost, Paul. We've already lost the country. And so I say that we must get behind Advance, go out, deliver your leaflets, do whatever you can to promote them, and that. So that's really where I'm coming from. So as mine's going a bit funny because there's so much I'd love to have the opportunity to say. And I know
you take your time, relax. You're amongst friends. Get it off your chest.
That's okay. That's great. But I think that sometimes, as Richard said on one of his videos, or was it you? Yes, it was you, Paul, that we're talking to the converted, and we need to get out.
Yeah.
A hard job round where I am is because we are so peaceful in my area that people just can't see it. They can see no further than everything's rosy where we are, but they don't notice that it's coming. Oh, one thing I'd like to say also about Muslims. I'm against Islam and everything, and I don't think it does as much help to say, moderate Muslims or good Muslims, because I'm old enough to remember when Salman Rushdie's book was published. All the Muslims were out on the street burning his book, and all the Muslims were saying they would follow the fatwa, would kill him. We even had Yusuf Islam, who used to be known as Cat Stevens, on national television saying, given the chance, he would follow the fatwa. He would obey the fatwa on Rushdie. So you had very popular entertainment, Cat Stevens, must be worth millions, saying that he would personally kill Rushdie. He will deny he said it, but you can find it if you want to go deep digging.
Yeah, no, I know you're right, because I'm of an age that I remember it too. Yeah, so
yeah. Oh yeah. So so when you've got Muslims saying that, I say we can't really talk about moderate Muslims, because, as the lady said before me, they all follow as one. I think she said they all follow as one. So they are all going to follow the ones who are the most extreme, because they're the ones who are going to be shouting and telling them what they must do because they're Muslims. I never dreamed I would see, I haven't around here, but when I go down to London, see people walking around in hijabs and that, and as if that's normal. I'm of the age when I remember Carnaby Street and going down there to see all the girls in the short skirts and loving it, absolutely loving it. And I want to see England back like that. And really, I'm running on a bit now, Paul, but
let me ask you a couple of questions. I mean, what is it? You know, I mean, obviously you're sort of, you know, like myself, you're in your senior years, as it were.
Yeah.
What is it that scares you about? You said the word Muslims rather than Islam, which is kind of the same thing. Well, it is the same thing, but there is a difference. I mean, I think it's unfair to say that every single Muslim is a bad person. That is clearly not the case. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with on the thing that I've been very lucky, and I've met Ben, personally met him, and great about that. But Ben says his father was a Muslim, but the only time his father got upset was when the Pakistani government said they couldn't drink alcohol. So there are a lot of people who are, I would say, they're cultural Muslims. They're born into a Muslim family, so they're told from birth that they're a Muslim. They probably don't believe a word of it, but if you get too many people saying to them, "You're a Muslim, you must go to the mosque, you must be there 5 times a week praying," and then they say, Salman Rushdie wrote a book. They probably, half of them who were on the street probably never even knew who Salman Rushdie was, let alone, I tried reading his book, the Satanic Verses, and I got fed up with it, to be quite honest with you, before I got to the end of the first chapter.
I think for me, Robert, that the closer to the real truth is probably this, is that, you know, like all races, religions, creeds, colours, whichever, when you talk about human beings, there's good and there's bad. The problem that I see with Islam is that the radicals always overpower those that aren't radical, and that is the concern. Whereas we're different, you know. The Christian culture is different. Where we call out our bad people in our communities, we call out the bad guys. Whereas within Islam, they're very reluctant to do that, and that really is an issue. Robert, I'm going to move on, my friend.
The one from, may I just say, you're exactly right there, Paul, because Jimmy Savile told everybody he was a Christian, and he even got a knighthood from the Pope. Let alone from anybody else. But the Pope never turned around and said, "Oh, it's okay for Jimmy Savile to mess around with children." He would have condemned him. But the Muslims hide it, and it's not just the imams that hide it; it's the families, their wives, and their. And
that is a major problem, a major problem. That needs to be addressed and can only be addressed by the Muslim community themselves. We can't address that for them.
And I'd say also that in John's Gospel, I'm holding the time. In John's Gospel, there's a bit where Jesus, an adulterous woman is brought to Jesus, and Jesus says, "Let him who is without sin cast the first stone." And if you look online, you'll find that adulterous women are still stoned to death in the 2025. not in the distant in the past. So that is what Sharia law would bring in here, step by step by step, into England if we allowed it to happen. So I fear Islam taking over, if anything. I know it will be after I'm dead, but I still want it to happen.
None of us want that, do we?
Yeah.
None of us want that.
Thank you.
John,
Thank you
Robert,
very
I'm
much,
going to move on, mate. Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much. All the best. You have a great week. Let me bring in John. John, good afternoon.
Hey, Paul. I've been trying to get this set up for weeks and I've finally managed it.
Well, there you go. You're on.
Hi, my friend. I just want to go back to the subject of freedom of speech again.
Sure.
I mean, I had a bit of a discussion with somebody on Facebook just an hour or so ago relating to the Trump BBC litigation. And we had a decent civil conversation, and they said they can't post it due to it breaches the community standards. Now, there was no swear words, no malice, no anything untoward. Everything was very, very civil. And can I just read this off for you?
Yeah,
Are we done? Yeah. Somebody said, basically the BBC give a half-arsed apology to Trump, but didn't want to pay him compensation. They didn't think it justified it.
Yeah.
But it's not really about the compensation for Trump. He doesn't need it. It's about doing it on principle. This is what they banned, by the way, and this is what they failed to post. When an internationally renowned media organisation lies and manipulates, it's time to worry, especially one that's backed by its government. It doesn't matter whether the BBC is leaning left or right. They are lying.
Yeah.
Especially when we're relying on them for the truth. When a famous British institution lies and twists the truth, particularly when the motivations don't seem to favour the British people, we are in trouble. Whichever way you lean in politics, we're in trouble. And I thought, while the left and right can't even agree on the basics as to what's best for our country, our democratic system is being abused and overrun on a huge scale. Now, I say that with no political bias whatsoever. Take the politics out of it and look again at our situation. It's scary. It really is scary.
They've been getting away with it for years as well, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, my views are probably more right than left. I try to be neither. I just try to be decent and common sense, but I'm more right than left. But you take the politics out of it and it still looks the same. It's still scary as hell. Now, I can't believe there's no legislation in Parliament that can remove somebody that's guilty of constant overreach like, they are. Basically, they can please themselves and there's nothing we can do about it for the next 3.5, 4 years. That can't be right, surely.
No, and it's crazy. It's crazy that people can get elected on a manifesto and then completely go back on all of it.
I mean, they should be held to account for that. That's a bit like lying to an employer, to get a job on a, but probably 100 times the scale. I mean, I don't know if you're aware, Lucy Connolly just lately, and I might be not 100% accurate in this. I just got the tail end of the situation, but apparently she's been invited to the White House to discuss freedom of speech in the UK, and she had to apply to the probation service to leave the country, and they've given her a flat no.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Yep. Sounds
so. If that's
right.
not proving her point, then I don't know what is.
And what is she guilty of?
It's a misdemeanor, isn't it? It's a misdemeanor.
Exactly.
How can you stop somebody leaving the country on a misdemeanor?
Yeah.
There's no other reason for it other than politics, and she's a political prisoner. I mean, there's no other.
And still a political prisoner.
Yeah.
And still is right now. I mean, there's talk about the Americans offering the British people, or some of the British people, I guess that would include myself, asylum if they have become a target of the authorities through political reasons. And that shows you how far we've fallen, doesn't it? That America is considering offering the British asylum because of political persecution. What an absolute statement of an embarrassment that is.
Yeah, I mean, it's scary how far we've fallen. When you consider we were probably the original proprietors of free speech, where the hell has it gone? I mean, this has been coming.
I tell you, mate, you know what? I tell you what, John, it's a great question, but I tell you where it's gone. It's gone through ignorance. People have given it away. The British people have given They've given it all away. Giving it all away. There's always a rule in life, right? If you give something away to someone, they very rarely give it back. If you give power away to the government, they very rarely give it back. And what we've allowed them to do, election after election after election after election, is to lie, to cheat, to fail to deliver, and we've allowed them to get away with it. It was only up until the last election where, as the caller earlier on said, the Conservatives, despite the end result being an absolute frigging disaster, the Tories deserved the kicking that they got. They did deserve it. The problem is that we were left with Labour.
I mean, they've had 27 years between them, the Uni Party, and look at the mess we're in. And they are in no position, as far as I'm concerned, to criticise the likes of Nigel Farage and all the other contenders before they've even started. They have no right, and they're in no position, considering the mess they've made over 27 years between them. They have no right to criticise any other contender before they've even started. I don't know how they've got the nerve to even do that.
Yeah. I mean, look, at the end of the day, it just shows you how, I mean, they've got no shame. They have no shame whatsoever, because even to show their goddamn faces on our TV screens, quite honestly, is taking the goddamn piss. I mean, at the end of the day, like you said, they have not delivered. And I go back to Brexit again and again and again. All the time I keep going back to Brexit. For the Remainers out there that may be watching this or may get to see this, look, being a part of the EU had its benefits, especially for things like travel, being able to work abroad, being able to go and live in the EU, etc. I don't think the majority of Brits necessarily wanted to leave the European Union, because Brits don't hate Europe. Brits love Europe. What they wanted to secure our borders. And the left wouldn't listen. They wouldn't have it. They called us racist. They wouldn't listen. They wouldn't have it. So what did they get? They got Brexit. And then they still won't have it. They will never ever listen, and they won't listen until it's all too late.
I mean, the thing with the EU now is that the cons far outweigh the advantages. And I personally, as conspiracy theorist as this sounds, I personally think that the COVID thing, I think it was a test case to see how compliant we would be when they came to coming down with instructions like this, wide-reaching instruction. I think that was a test to see how compliant we would be. I've said that all along. I'm prepared to be still corrected, but I mean, I just see that as a test to see how compliant, they can get us to be.
Yeah, very possibly. Gaz Bob Outdoors says young Muslims are not like the older ones. They want this land. I tell you what I think there is. I think there's how can I try and explain this? I think there's a perception amongst the younger generation of Muslims that there's a sentiment for a place they've never been to, a culture that they don't really know. And if they did really know it, and if they did visit where their parents came from, they probably wouldn't feel so passionate about it.
Yeah, I agree.
But that's them really down to the older generation to teach them how lucky they are to be living in, well, what was once such a great bloody country. That's the reason they came here in the first place. John, I'm going to move on, mate, because we're going to be wrapping it up before too long. Thank you so much, John.
Good to speak to you finally, Paul.
And you, mate. Hope to see you again soon. Julie, good afternoon, Julie. Looks a bit dark there, Julie.
I'm sitting in the dark. I'm like a little vampire.
Why are you sitting in the dark?
I'm having a pain attack, Paul, and it affects my eyesight and everything. I don't like the light.
Sorry to hear that, Julie.
That's all right.
What's on your mind today?
Right. So there's a couple of things. I am a strong believer in you listen to all sides, you listen to everything from everywhere.
Yeah.
And then you make up your own mind. So I listen to you, and I listen to Jeff, and I listen to everyone. I feel sorry for a lot of good Muslim people because they're not speaking out, and I think it's getting them disliked, which is sad. Unfortunately, they're scared. But what I wanted to
What are
ask,
they scared of, Julie? Though, sorry, what are they
I
scared
think
of?
they're scared of Islam because they actually know what they're like, and
So
that's
they're
what they're
more scared
fed
of
on.
their own people than they are
Yeah,
us, right? Yeah,
oh yeah,
yeah, I would
definitely.
agree with that. Yeah,
They're absolutely terrified because they know if they speak out, they will be targeted terribly. But the thing is, if they don't speak out, they're gonna end up losing this country sort of thing, and then they're going to be disliked for not speaking out. So I feel sorry for them. I understand they're in a awkward situation, but as I say, I listen to everyone. I even send letters to my Labour MP, who I don't agree with at all, but I give him his due. He answers every question of
yeah.
mine, so he does his job properly.
No, that's
And
fair. That's fine.
you've got to, give credit where credit's due.
No, that's
But
fair enough.
I've been
Julie, I
listening
want to.
to.
Sorry, Julie, I just want to take you back to the Muslim situation because I know what you're saying.
Mm,
The problem is for me, and this is just my own opinion, is and like I've already said earlier on in the show, if my best friend, my best friend in the world, right? If I found out that he was kiddie fiddling, he's straight down the road. Right, I'm straight on the phone to the police. He's going to get nicked. I'm grassing him up because he's a nonce. I'm not going to protect him just because he's my mate. No way, not in a million years. And the problem is, in this culture, there is a blanket that they throw over their community, and that's got to stop. Now, I don't believe that that's all through fear. I do believe it's also through some kind of bizarre loyalty. And that perception, that culture has to change. Otherwise, it's never going to get any better.
no, and the difference is, like the British people, we won't stand for people like that in
No,
our
we
area,
won't.
and we won't have it. But we will, maybe they might get a good hiding and be chucked out of the area. But I think the Muslims know exactly what Islam is like, and they wouldn't think anything of beheading them because that's what they're like. But I've been listening to. I listen to you. I try to keep a level head. But I listened to Jeff the other day,
Yeah,
and I listened to. I don't know if you've heard of Vindicator.
yeah,
And then I watched Danny on the beaches with the raise the flags bloke.
yeah,
And basically, I think they're saying they don't think that we are going to be able to vote our way out of it. It's gone too far. There's too many over here now that will rise up, and we will have an internal war. I was wondering what your honest opinion of it, because everybody wants to be able to vote our way out, but
yeah.
do you think it's gone too far?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure viewers want to hear my honest opinion on it, but I'll give it
Well,
to you. I'll
yeah,
give it
but
to you. I don't think the British people have the guts for it. I don't think they have the balls for it. And when I say I don't think they have the balls for it, there are plenty of people out there, of course, that would and do, but they're being locked up. And they will be the first ones that the police and the authorities come after. So it's not a case of would we stand up and fight? Would we be willing to protect ourselves? We wouldn't be battling with an internal enemy. We'd be battling with the authorities, with the police, and you can't beat the police. You know, they're the biggest firm in the country. So when I say the British people haven't got the spirit for it, I tell you now, when you look around at our younger men these days, and we're not talking, any older guys out there getting offended at what I'm saying now, just hear me out for a minute. Fighting age. What is fighting age? Well, they reckon 18 to 35. Now, I know there's plenty of men out there over 35 that can look after themselves. Of course there is. plenty of men over 35. But the general term fighting age is between 18 and 35. If you look at our 18 to 35-year-olds, they couldn't knock a skin off a rice pudding half the time. And the older generation, in many respects, people like myself, we're too old for all that nonsense. I don't believe we're organised enough, and I don't believe that we are prepared for the level of violence that they would be prepared to inflict upon us. We've always lived, Julie, in a civilised society. We don't do beheadings. We don't do stabbings, right? We don't do all this stuff. That's not the British way, is it? And if I'm honest with you, I don't think the British people are prepared or aware of how bad that could look.
I think we're going to end up like another Iran.
Well, that's the situation. And this is why, when I go back to the voting side of things, this is why registering to vote, making sure you vote, etc., is so vital. Because look, I guarantee you this now, because I know from the back end of my YouTube analytics, right, it tells me about my viewers. The vast majority, something like 80% of my viewers are over 50. It's not much of an army, is it? Do you know what I mean? They're over 50. It's not much of an army.
No, and I think that we sort of, I try to, every bit of information I get, I make sure that it's correct.
Yeah.
And then I share it. I write, I try to do it in like little bullet points. And like when I was out the other day, I don't go out very often, but I went out shopping with my husband, and there was an elderly lady, and she was looking at the Christmas stuff, and you can tell what people are like just by saying something to them. I said, "Oh, I like Christmas, but it's very commercialised now, isn't it?" And she said, "Yeah, it's a shame. It's not like it used to be." And I said, "No, this country's gone off track a bit." And she went, "It's gone well off track, and I'm worried about getting on the train and that." So I was saying to her, "Oh, you know, you could have a bit of WD-40, something like that." So you usually, and that is maybe enough. She sort of knows, but it's enough maybe then for her to go and tell her friend that doesn't believe what's going on. So you sort of find if you really go deep on people and say, this is happening, this is happening, this is happening, they don't listen. But if you give them, if you plant a little seed in their head, like say the windmills, oh, do you realise that they can't store all the power, so they have to turn them off, and then that costs thousands of pounds, and that's why your electric bill's so dear.
Yeah.
And then they think about it, and then but we should have been doing this 10 years ago, not now. We've run out, I think we've run out of time. And I think that if we don't get these they're Marxists. Right? If we don't get them out, they've joined with the Islamists, we will end up being another Iran. And to be quite honest, I don't think we've got another 3.5 years.
No, look, Julie, you may well be right. You know, I hope that.
I'm not trying to like be getting people down, just trying to be honest.
No, look,
If you're not honest, you're not ready.
Yeah. No, look, at the end of the day, that is what it's all about, being honest. Thank you so much, Julie. I'm going to let you go because I'm going to have a little chat with it. God bless you. Have a good week. Going to address the audience before I go because you know, one or two of the things that I've said in the last couple of minutes, people might get misconstrued, and I don't want that to happen. Steve asked, how do I get those stats, Paul? It's all in your YouTube algorithm. If you've got a YouTube channel, you can see how old your audience are, whether they're male or female, where they live, not where they live, but what region, what country, etc. they live in. It tells you how long they're watching for. It tells you everything you want to know. Brits need a leader. Absolutely. I agree with you entirely. We do have them. Unfortunately, they're not all united. Yeah, I mean, the bottom line is, going back to what I was saying, sorry, just looking through the chat, see if there's any reaction to what I said. I don't believe that we are prepared. I don't believe the men of this country are. This isn't a game of football. Unfortunately, if it was Man United versus Liverpool or Mill versus West Ham, people would be prepared, right? But this ain't what it is it? We are not prepared, nor do we understand the levels of violence that could be bestowed upon us. And that is a fact, because, like I said, we don't do some of the things that they're capable of doing. That's not the way that we were brought up, and it's not the Christian way, is it? Don't get me wrong. We're still a strong nation. We are still a strong nation, but we do have a major problem. That is a fact. Glenn, like I said, we don't do. Glenn, if you can turn your volume down, my friend. That's not the way that we were born. I'll give Glenn a second for his YouTube to catch up there, because there's a slight delay. Let's have a little look. Glenn, can you hear me? Still a strong nation. No. Glenn, if you're watching, mate, you've got to turn down your volume on your computer. Otherwise, all I can hear is myself, I'm afraid. We're too bloody polite. That is the truth. That is the truth. You're talking about civilians, though. Yeah, I'm talking about the civilians. Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. Talking about. Let me see if Glenn, have you got Glenn? Can you hear me? There you go, Glenn. I've got you.
Can you hear me, Paul?
I can hear you perfectly now, Glenn. How you doing?
Can you hear me, Paul?
Yep, I can hear you, Glenn. Yep, I can hear you, Glenn.
Can you hear me, Paul?
Yep, I can hear you, Glenn, but you obviously can't hear me, unfortunately, which is a shame. Never mind, we'll leave that one there. Sorry about that, Glenn. I could hear you, but you couldn't hear me. The time for tolerance is well and truly over, and in many respects, I think that's right, Yvonne. We've got to stop being as tolerant as we have been. We need to learn how to say no, for a start. And like I've said about, the amount of halal food being served up and basically force-fed to our children in schools. But what do people do about it? Nothing. They'll moan, they'll raise their eyebrows, and that's it. I'm hoping that Glenn can come back and have his say before we wrap up for today. But it doesn't look like we're going to get any luck. Guys, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. As always, I'll be honest with you, this is now my favourite show, to be honest. I love having you guys on, hearing what you're saying. Let's have a look. We've got Jimmy. Jimmy, how you doing?
Hey, Paul, you know where it is, right?
Yeah, how you doing, brother? You okay?
Paul, in exactly 60 seconds, I've just got me stuck together and I came straight on. Yeah, it's great, isn't it?
Yep, there you go.
Hey, Paul, I would just like to thank you, and other people of your team. You do a fantastic job. And all these little videos go together to make something, to make a community.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm missing, a good... Hey, Paul, as well, I want to ask you, can you see what's on my hand?
Yeah, go for it.
Can you see what's on my hand?
I can't see it, mate. You'll have to tell us.
It's the same what's on your hand, but you said that you hadn't been in trouble.
Loyalty?
Borstal glove.
A what, sorry?
A Borstal glove.
No, I haven't got... No, I've just got regular tats, mate.
Paul, well, when you get your hand covered like that, it's called a Borstal glove.
Is that what they call it?
And I bet you were in detention as well, weren't you?
No, I had detention at school a few times. I've got to be honest with you, mate. But there you go.
But anyway, there, Paul, I know you're going to round things up at the moment. I think you and other people do a fantastic job. And you've got a community of people out there, you know, like Tommy.
A lovely community. Lovely
Tom,
community. Yeah.
And people like that. And the thing you've done in Poland as well was brilliant. And that Polish guy was great, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's good. He's very, very good indeed. That's a nice little setup you've got there.
Nice, canny in it.
Yeah, what do you do?
I do streaming, but I don't advertise myself, you know.
Okay. All right. Well, lovely to go with you, mate. Come on again sometime, yeah?
I will, Paul. I think you're a good, great, good bloke. Keep up the good work. And
God
all the
bless you,
people,
mate.
all the people in the chat room, remember you're part of this community. See you later,
Absolutely.
Paul. Love you, son.
And you, mate. All the best. Last guest today is Zach. Good afternoon, Zach. How are you, mate? Can you hear me all right?
Hi, Paul. Sorry, I can't hear you. I'll leave and join again.
Okay. Let's get him back again. Let's try and get him back before he goes. Before we wrap up today, got to hang on now because it could be an absolute blinder, couldn't it? We've got 1,113 people watching. If you haven't done so already, guys, I hate to be so boring and ask you, but give us a thumbs up, please, if you can. Zach, can you hear me now?
Hi, Paul.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you this time. Sorry.
Good stuff. What's on your mind,
Yeah, I
Zach?
can hear you. Yeah, I just wanted to kind of come on and basically give you like a young person's view.
Please do.
Obviously,
Yeah.
I just heard what you mentioned about your audience being, what was it, over 50s?
Predominantly, yeah.
Well, I'm like early 30s, so I sort of fit without that, like outside of that category.
Bucking the trend.
Yeah.
It's good to know that I've got some younger people watching, you know.
Yeah, even the people that don't watch you, they're still aware of like what's going on. Myself, a lot of my friends, similar ages, we've all had sort of kids now, and we're all at that similar sort of point in our lives.
Yeah.
I think like going through those things, it sort of makes you more conservative. So you kind of have to have these sort of values. I know for me, like I was quite liberal really before I had my first child, and it kind of like opens your eyes up to it a bit more.
Changes your life,
you know,
right?
you want to sort of protect your legacy, don't you? Which is 3 children, and you want the best for them.
Yeah.
But obviously, yeah, my friends are going through similar situations. They're all like similar age to me, so yeah.
Look,
don't worry.
Mate. Yeah, two things. First of all, do you mind if I ask you how old you are?
Yeah, I'm 31.
Okay, so 31. So your sort of broad spectrum of friends around you, around that sort of age, politically.
Yeah.
Where are they at, Zach? Where are they
at? What you mean, sort of like?
Are they more left leaning? Are they more right leaning? Or are they just disinterested? Or
I'd say most of them are sort of interested, right leaning. I'd say you'd basically just call it common sense, wouldn't you? Like,
well, that's the thing.
A lot of them voted for Brexit. A lot of them, like, they wanted the Tories out because of all the austerity and the 14 years of failure and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
Some of them voted, some of them didn't. Obviously, it was difficult where we are because there wasn't really a lot of options, like a lot of candidates to vote for.
A lot
so
of
it's
choice,
pretty much like one or the other. I think that's sort of how we ended up in this mess. But yeah, they're all kind of on the same sort of path. Like we're all fairly liberal when we were younger. Like I think most people are, aren't they?
Most people are, yeah, of course.
Yeah,
what do they say when you're?
Obviously,
well, what's the saying? When you're young, if you're not a liberal, you haven't got a heart. When you're old, if you're not a conservative, you haven't got a brain, or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I've heard Charlie Beach says it best. I think, I've heard him say it a few times.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So who do you, as a 31-year-old, who do you follow mostly on YouTube? I mean, are you attracted to one particular age group? I'm interested in who you follow, and I'm interested in what's missing for people of your age. What would attract more people of your age to this movement to open their eyes? What do you think, Zach?
I think it's always going to be difficult because people sort of my age and below, they're just not interested in politics, are they?
Yeah. Yeah.
If it doesn't have a direct impact on your life, then you don't really want to get involved, do you?
Yeah.
I mean, my like sort of work and stuff, I've had to kind of experience certain things that we've been through, especially like during the pandemic and that. So it sort of opened my eyes to it a bit more.
Yeah.
And I think like if that never happened, like the pandemic and everything, I probably wouldn't be as sort of conservative, right leaning as I am now.
Yeah, possibly.
But yeah, I mean, like YouTubers that I watch Jeff Taylor quite a lot. Yourself, who else? Richard, quite like his channel.
So older guys.
Yeah,
really.
pretty much. Yeah.
What about people like?
Yeah,
what about people like young Bob and that? I mean, Bob's obviously a lot younger than you, but I think that is one thing I think the youngsters of today are missing. And would I call you a youngster? Well, you're a young man, but you're not a youngster. You're a grown man. So I think we miss a link, say, between the 15 to 25-year-olds.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, you could say that. But then, like, if you look at sort of reform, I know obviously you're with Advance, aren't you? But reform, like, they seem to have good polling on like TikTok and stuff. They've got good outreach, which I think like that's probably the only way really they're going to get the younger generations in. You're fighting a constant battle because the education system is just completely set up to be left leaning into it. Like, they're pretty much indoctrinated. And then like the amount of people that go to university, and that's just like a breeding ground for leftist politics, isn't it? Really, there's not a lot of right leaning things available.
No, not
because
at all.
they just all get shut down, don't they?
And it's terrible for the kids as well, bless their hearts, because at the end of the day, you got kids. I mean, they start on them now when they're 5 years old. They're straight on them. As soon as they get into school, they're on them. And how do you tell a 7, 8, 9-year-old kid that what they're being taught at school is wrong, morally wrong,
can you?
Biologically wrong, whatever? It's. I mean, to me, it's almost child abuse to have to.
Yeah, I think this is where parents need to kind of bring in religion to the house, really, like Christianity, Christian values again, because you can put that to them then, can't you? You can put those morals and those values onto them through religion, and then like if they choose that they don't want to follow it later on in life, that's up to them. Like, that was the same with me. My parents did the same with me. They didn't force it on me. They gave me the choice. And obviously, like, I've not just looked at one and picked one. I've studied a lot of faiths, as we do at school, and I chose Christianity. That was the one for me. That was the one I believed in. So you can't really just expect people to follow it just because the parents do. But I think the reason why kids are so vulnerable now is because there's nothing there. It's almost like a black hole in it.
They have no belonging.
Yeah.
Zach, they have no belonging. Kids today, I mean, kids and the youngsters in general, they need something to belong to. I mean, that is why football in the UK. I often talk about football, but that is one of the reasons why football is so popular amongst young men in particular, because it gives them something to belong to.
Yeah. It's it's that tribal instinct, isn't it?
It's that tribal instinct. Yeah. You're never gonna get rid of that.
I mean, it's with the protests and stuff, and trying to get people organised and so we can demonstrate and show the government that we're upset about things. What better way to do it than in that sort of sense of the tribalism and keeping people together in that way? Obviously, they can do it every week when they go to a football match, can't they? But
yeah, absolutely. Last question for you, Zach, and thanks for coming on today. Really appreciate it, mate. It's always good to have someone new on. Big question: where do you think this is all heading? Where's it all leading?
Oh,
honest opinion.
That's the question. That's the $1 million question.
Where's it all leading?
I don't know. I think we've got to sort out the birth rates, haven't we? That's the key to everything.
Well, that's going to take 50, 60, 100 years, isn't it? That's the problem.
But it has to start now, doesn't it?
We're all bonking for Britain, mate, but some of us are too old to be producing.
because I'm not sure on exactly on the sort of statistics, but there's a large population of the white population is above a
Just
certain
like
age, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah.
Like the vast majority of them, I think, are between like 50 and 80 or something. So as soon as like that generation goes, we're going to be left in the lurch, aren't we?
Yeah.
So we need to kind of sort it out now. Maybe give incentives for people. I think is it Sweden or Denmark, one of those countries. They give you benefits for being a white person and having kids. Like they give you preferential treatment because you're the host culture. Maybe we need to do something like that to sort of ensure that there's a white majority.
I think, Zach, look, I think any woman that is having a baby, any person that is, they all deserve the same treatment. Where we've got to get to, we've got to get back to the realization that every single country in the world has a culture and an indigenous population.
Yeah.
And trying to deny that is just crazy. I mean,
this is where they've sort of like taken the concept of being British, haven't they? And they just apply it to everyone.
Just apply it to everyone. Look, I can go and live in Japan. I can have 5 kids in Japan. It's never going to make me Japanese, ever.
No.
Right?
No.
Now, I might be Japanese by birth or hold a Japanese passport, but from a hereditary viewpoint, I'm not Japanese and never will be. The same as I'm not African and never will be. And it's, so can an African person become British? Well, they can become British and have a passport. They can settle here. They can have a life here, and they can be British. They can play for Wales or for Scotland or for England or for Northern Ireland. But hereditary-wise, they're not English, are they? They're not Welsh or they're not Scottish. It's impossible.
No. I mean, I've had arguments about this with people, and like they try and debate that they can be English if they're familiar with certain history and whatnot, and it's like there's just sort of no clear definition of it, is there? That's the problem.
No, I mean, it's
They've
a
blurred
tough
the
one.
lines so much.
It's a real tough one, mate, and I'll tell you why it's a tough one. Because I watched the boxing on Saturday, Conor Benn and Chris Eubank Jr., and I watched Nigel Benn walk to the ring. His dad, Conor Benn's dad, with his poppy.
Yeah.
Nigel Benn served in the Royal Fusiliers. I knew Nigel Benn. I mean, Nigel Benn for me is a Brit. He's English.
Yeah,
right?
he's a British patriot, isn't he?
He's a British patriot. I don't care about the colour of his skin, but hereditary-wise, DNA, that's not British, and that is just a physical DNA fact.
But that's the thing, isn't it? Like, everyone that sort of fits that category, like, they'll basically be defined as like British and then whatever they are. So you've got like obviously British Afro-Caribbean or British Pakistani or whatever. Like you always have to sort of put that in there as well. Which
and it does
make them part of our culture, but it's not like they're not native, are they, here?
No, I mean if you go to America and they do it in a much less sinister fashion. They have Polish Americans, Italian Americans, Irish Americans, but they're all Americans.
Yeah, they're American first, aren't they?
Yeah, they're American first. They're always American first.
But with us, like, we can't really do that now, can we? Because like you see what's going on with the flags and stuff. Like I've got mine behind me there. You can't really like even celebrate being British anymore, can you? Because even that's seen to be offensive because the people that are coming in legally and illegally. It's like they're sort of being brought in on the sort of backs of like their culture needs to be here as well, and it needs to be given its own little pedestal.
Well, look, at least, Zach, you've given us some hope from the younger generation this afternoon. I appreciate that and very much appreciate
there's definitely hope out there. So
try and keep going, keep spreading the word. Thanks for coming on, mate.
I think a lot of it is we're just so busy, like working, and we've got our lives going on, and
of course,
it's hard to take time out of things like that to sort of come on the marches and.
Mate, when I was your age, I was bringing up a young family. I didn't have time for anything much else, So I appreciate your efforts and
we're
coming on.
Still here, so
well done, mate. All the best to you. Take care.
No
have a great
Thanks,
week.
Paul.
All the best.
Cheers. Bye.
Cheers, mate. So that's Zach. Guys, we are now on to the hour and 35 minutes. So I'm definitely going to wind it up. Thank you so much for joining us. If you haven't done so already, please hit that upvote button. If you haven't done so already, please make sure you subscribe. And most importantly, hit that notification bell and press always, because then you will get a notification every time I upload a video, every time I go live. Let me know in the comments what you thought of today's show. Let me know what you think I got right. Let me know what you think I got wrong, and how I can improve this stream. Don't tell me, get a new host. Have a great week, everyone. We'll be back soon. Love to you all. We'll see you soon.